Well, welcome back.
I'm Dave.
I'm Sean.
This is Barstools
and Bandtalk, the complete maritime music bucket list. Good to be back. I had a mini hiatus, which you'll see. I was busy doing some stuff, so Dave held the fort and was able to get some good material there. And we have another great 53% guest tonight. I can't believe that it's actually taken us this long to get this gentleman on. Anybody who back in, we'll say the day, we don't want to date ourselves, but that would have been going downtown and would have been interested in seeing something different than your typical rock scene, would have remembered the band Gilt. And in particular, the great show. But this next gentleman, who a lot of people will remember, was just an absolute crazy man. I think the funniest thing I ever seen, Dave, I think you and I were at the Palace one night. Yep. He ran into the crowd and grabbed somebody's smokes and threw the guy's smokes to everybody in the bar. And
I
just
that.
never, ever.
In fairness, smokes were $1.50 a pack back then, so it wasn't that big a deal. But yeah,
one, two, Dave. 1, 2, Dave. 1, 2.
Yeah.
1, 2. 1, 2. Anyway, but what an energetic dude. And I just remember it was like you didn't necessarily even care what they played, as bad as that sounds. This guy was just unfriggin' real when he was the whole band was, but I mean he was just what a singer. He was like the Rubber Man. He was just, just the way that it on our site, you're going to see some video that's on there right now, and you'll see what I mean.
Yeah. Shane Moore was just something else. I mean, I never seen anybody with a fully extended mic stand just on the stage at the Palace jump completely over the mic stand. The energy was unbelievable. And I remember that story. How you said it, Sean, with the smoke. You just never knew. It was totally unpredictable. And I loved it because it was just, as Sean said, it was different. It was exciting. It was entertainment, you know what I mean? And we're really pleased to present tonight Shane Moore, and he's still an entertainer, and he's got a little friend with him tonight. We call him Petey, but it's actually a her, apparently. Oh, yeah. Petey's gone. We're talking about you and Petey coming on together, Shane, and I see Petey's gone.
Oh, she's got to get some seeds. She'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
So Shane, in the intro that day, and you couldn't hear it, but Dave and I were talking about there was a show that we went to that we saw Gilt one night, and it's still, for all these years, reverberates. We're sitting there. It might have been on a Thursday night. There, I don't know, might have been 20 people in the audience. You ran off the stage, you grabbed the guy's pack of smokes, and you handed all the smokes out to everybody in the bar. I don't even know if you remember it, but I just remember Dave and I were like, what the frig? And it was just one of those things where this guy's an entertainer, man. He's a talented musician, but, entertainer.
That must have been one of those nights where I decided to take it a little further than usual. It's a shtick I do quite a bit. Usually I'd take somebody's pack of smokes and I'd take one out and I'd flip one into my mouth and I'd light it and give it back to them. That was the whole shtick. But if I gave them all, that was probably a test to see if the small crowd liked us or not, because if they didn't, they'd have beat us up.
It was great, man.
Well, I was saying to Sean, it was only $1.50 for a pack of smokes back then. You do it now, you might get beat up pretty easy. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So Shane, it's been a long time, brother. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been on lockdown for 13 years.
COVID came early for you.
Yeah, exactly. I've been doing lots of behind the scenes stuff, just lots of writing and just enjoying playing music, without having it be my source of income.
Right on.
Sure.
Yeah.
So when we weren't recording, you clarified for us about the band being from Montreal, and I do remember you guys being from Montreal.
Yep.
And I do remember you guys coming down, and it was kind of neat when you guys came down, because it was almost like an event. Like, you didn't come down like it wasn't like you were here every 2 weeks. But you come down for a bit, you do a reel, you go away, you come back again.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that, because I mean, it really made it an event.
Yeah. Well, we when we got together, it was 1979, and we spent I think we spent about 3 or 4 years just playing small clubs in Quebec, Victoriaville, Drummondville, just like really small places, and we kind of honing the stuff there.
There's Petey.
Now she's building this you know, in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, he builds this thing in his living room that's all dirt and just stuff.
Yeah.
She's doing that with seeds.
Oh, very nice.
I think it's mating season or something. Anyway, yeah. So after those couple of years of doing the backwoods bars, we got ourselves a couple of school buses. Well, one to begin with. I think we went through a total of 4 school buses over the 13 years we were together. So we just hit the road and we went coast to coast for 13 years, pretty much. And so, I mean, the way it was paced out, we would end up in the Maritimes, I think maybe twice a year.
Yeah.
So we go, you know, West Coast and then East Coast and then go back. And each time we were going in that direction, we'd stop in and play here.
Sean's right, though. I remember being an event for sure, because I mean, it was the energy and the spontaneity and the unpredictability. Like I said, I just love the way you guys just attack the stage. You know, it was just so much fun. It was just different than everything. It wasn't all show, like in terms of lights and smoke and, you know, big systems. It was just trying to watch you all. There's so much going on stage at any given time, but the musicianship was always impeccable, right?
Well, we played so much that we got to know the songs back to front. So getting on stage was kind of, it was sort of a free thought area.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, once we did start playing, it'd be like, I was constantly just looking out to see what I could do that would be messed up. You know, just sort of calculating what can I do now that might throw things into a different direction, kind of
Sounds
jump
like
off
me.
the towers.
So in the intro, I referred to you as the rubber man, Shane, because you used to do all kinds of stuff where it was almost like you didn't have any joints in your body. I remember that. And Dave mentioned a thing about you jumping over a mic stand that was, you know, fully set up and what have you. Who are some of your influences? Because I mean, to me, you seem like you have a very almost theatrical background, or you did when you played, but also a great singer.
Well, thank you. Totally Mick Jagger. David Bowie was one of my favorites. Bruce Springsteen, even though he wasn't much of a mover, but when he did the Dancing in the Dark thing, I was kind of thinking, okay, he's getting it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much those guys. Tina Turner was a big influence too for some reason. I just really liked her energy. Anyone that did something, and actually we went to a concert in, where was that? It might have been Montreal. What was the band? Was it Styx? I think it might have been Styx. It was a really enjoyable concert in that, actually it might not have been Styx, but really enjoyable. The music was impeccable. It was just great. Sound was awesome. And I'm looking at the stage and absolutely nothing was happening. There was like, aside from, you know, there were lots of good lights. I mean, the whole thing was so professionally done, but nobody was doing anything at all. Yeah. And it really bothered me. It was early in my career. And I remember thinking, you know, if they were to do something, they'd probably gather more attention. I guess they didn't need to because they were big, but that was the thought in my head that if I could gather the attention by doing something physical. And that sort of started.
Well, you know what? And I love that. I mean, if you look over my shoulder, I'm a huge Kiss fan, and they always talked about, you know, they put together the band that they never saw, meaning the same thing. People would just kind of stand, you know, on the stage and tap their foot. And I kind of come from the school, and I like where you're coming from. I mean, I love progressive rock. I love progressive music. But my whole thing was always, you know, musicianship and show versus somebody standing there playing 18 million notes. I mean, I have nothing but respect for that. It was just never my thing. I'd rather watch a guy like Shane Moore handing out a pack of smokes or, you know, doing a backflip than I would some guy, you know, playing, Mozart's 17th to, you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with that?
Totally. It's the combination of the two, like musicianship and although I have to put in with that whole cigarette, the smoking thing, I did reach into a girl's purse once at one of the gigs. It might have been the Palace. It's probably safe to say now because I reached into the purse because I saw the pack of smokes. So as I reached in to get them, I felt something that was just a little colder than normal. It was a gun.
Jesus Christ.
So I think I stopped doing that shtick then. I looked at it and I when I felt it was the cold steel and I looked at her and she shook her head like that. Yeah, and I never reached that girl first. Yeah, that was
That's
part
funny.
of
That would never happen in Halifax.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the day. Well, let's go back to the beginning then, if we can, Shane. So, and you're a musical family. It's you and your two brothers for sure that I'm aware of. But where did it start for you in music? Bit you in the Irish, like when?
Ooh. I'd say sort of early on, my parents split up, and we were sort of tossed around a bit. There was a period of time when we were living in Penticton, BC, with my grandmother, and my father said he was doing some work in the West Indies in Trinidad. He was teaching people there how to race car drive. I don't know, and he was managing a TV station or something. So in one of our visits there, we sort of hung out with a bunch of calypso musicians, and they were doing their ring ting ting thing. And so when we got back to my grandmother's place, the whole family, or the five of us, 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and she'd send us door to door singing calypso songs.
Mm.
It was kind of it was odd, but at the time it was like, well, okay, well, if people want to hear us sing, and so we'd go door to door singing, I don't know, just really typical calypso tunes. And so it started making me think that I could possibly sing. That's where it started anyway.
Okay.
And
So
then,
go ahead.
so then, did you get into bands like pretty much right away, or like, because you mentioned you moved around a bit, so I mean, you put down roots. You got to, I mean, it's the same old thing with everybody, right? You got to find some guys, girls, get a band together, start jamming, figure out what the heck you're going to be.
Right.
What was your progression?
But once we left Penticton, I think the family split up off in different directions, and then we settled into Oshawa, Ontario, individually. That went on. And it was during the time when GM was really very big. All my friends worked at GM, and there was a lot of I guess you could see that, couldn't they? A lot of smuggling going on because of GM being a place where things could come and go at specific prices. Anyway, we made it through that alive, and just as I was leaving high school, my brother Kim started playing drums with a friend from school, and it got picked up by bass player who just passed away recently. So the two of them were playing together, and they said, well, we need a singer. And my brother Kim said, well, let's give Shane a try. So we went up and we played, I think I must have been 18 or so, 17 or 18. And we did some bars, and it was really neat. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Well, there was a band in town called Myth Rander. I can't believe I remember that. The singer of that band happened to be the boyfriend of the girl that I fell in love with. And so, but I didn't know they were dating. So I was starting to blossom in my looking for, love, and hit on her. And she said, no, I can't do that because I'm with him. And I went, because he was the singer in a band. That's what I did. I became a singer.
Yeah. So, was the Janosh Hotel around when you were living in Oshawa?
Oh my God, I almost did a spit take there.
Yeah, I had a host gig there for about 4 years.
Are you kidding me? Was it Harry's Hideaway then?
This was back in the 94, maybe. It was the main level was the bands. The bottom level was the male strippers, and the top level was the female strippers. Yeah, it was quite the spot.
Wow, it had evolved quite a bit since we played it. Excuse me. Wow, that's I haven't heard that name in forever. Janosh. It's torn down now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But, we did go back there. Geez, when would that have been? It may have been around the same time, because I think they stopped having bands for quite a while, and we went back, and all our old high school friends would come out and hang out with us. Yeah, that's yeah. It was called
So
the
it was a
Murray's
fun,
Hideaway when we played.
yeah, yeah. It was a fun spot, but I mean, it was always, you know, you just never knew what was going to happen there night to night, right?
Very scary. Yeah, very
Yeah,
scary.
yeah.
It's kind of cheers, eh? The band, the male strippers, and the female strippers. So you had to, I like the way that works.
Well,
So
the
tell-
weird thing is, you used to all stay on the same floor, right? But they had strict rules. You couldn't fraternize or talk to each other, and if you got caught, you get fired on the spot. So it's like,
yeah.
yeah, once you make it, you know, you're on a floor where if you see somebody, you got to look down. You can't even interact, right? It's like, yeah. Anyway, it was a different sort of thing, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that band you're talking about now, Shane, did that evolve into Gilt?
No, actually, that was Zoe, and then my father was living in Montreal then. So when things started to fall apart a little bit around then, he swooped in and saved us and brought us to Montreal. And God love him, he took me to so many auditions because by then I'd been bitten by the bug and I just wanted to be the singer in the band. So he took me to 1,000 auditions and ended up with I auditioned for 2 bands. Motion, a band who played a lot of Hendrix, and Strider, who played like just, you know, top 40 kind of stuff. And then that's when I met Mark Delahanty. Went to an audition because one of the bands wasn't working out that I was in. And at the St. James Pub, I did Sweet Madam Blue to audition. And
Wow.
That was when it started. That's when Gilt started, 1979.
Wow.
Well, way to pick an easy tune to do it for your audition.
Yeah, I think I sucked real bad though.
Well,
I think it was awful.
There'd be no shame in that because that's one of those anything by Dennis DeYoung, man. You're if you're gonna use that as your audition tapes, something tells me you got a set. If you know what I'm saying. Wow.
Yeah. And I don't think I was hired on the singing part of it. I think because they saw that I was this desperate manic guy that really just wanted to be a star.
You still everybody smokes.
Exactly. Yeah. And I hadn't picked up smoking yet, so I was going somewhere.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff were you covering back then?
Everything that was popular. Like as soon as something came out, like we jumped on the new wave movement as soon as that hit. I think we started out though with we were doing some 70s hits up until 80. I think when 82 came. No, it was before that. Anyway, as soon as the new wave movement started gaining momentum, we picked up all the Cars and you know, all the hits as they came out. And so we pretty much became a new wave band. And then when new wave died out, whatever it was that was taking over then, I can't even remember what it was, but as the hits came in, we would learn it and oust the songs that were
right
less popular. Yeah, but it was a constant momentum.
So in terms of
punkish, you know what I mean? Like, do you remember that, Sean? Like, it almost had like that punk element. Like you guys on stage remind me of kind of a punk band, almost like a safe punk band. You know, it wasn't like you're gonna, you know what I mean?
Iggy Pop was also one of my favorites, and I saw him do that bit when he rolled around on the glass and shit, and that I really enjoyed that for some reason. It was like, oh, this guy's willing to hurt himself for the cause. Like, I think I'd like to try that a little bit, and I did. I hurt myself a lot. I broke my nose. I broke my fingers. I don't know. I filled a towel full of blood one night in Montreal. Yeah.
That's going to happen if you just don't stand in one spot and tap your foot, right? I mean, it's like, you know, you're gonna run into things, or things are gonna run into you, or you're gonna miss the stage, right? Yeah. So, and I mean, God love it. I mean, and half the time, you know, the show must go on. The audience might not even know if you're maimed, but you have to keep rolling, right?
Yeah. In the case of the Broken Nose too, that was in Quebec City. Actually, there was a stand-up bar that was like right here, and at the beginning of the Blondie tune, one way or another, I'd always go down to get momentum to jump up. But this time I went down and the stand-up part was there and it hit me right on the nose. And just, I could have killed me, of course. But I bled so much that the little towel that I had was completely full. And I'm looking around going, somebody help me. And they're all just, hey, yay, all right, things are going great. This is fun. Nothing.
So, I mean, you guys had a good run, but I mean, anybody that's watching this that goes, okay, well, I recognize Shane from somewhere else. After you guys split up, you stayed in Halifax. I mean, I remember you were DJing at Cheers, and I remember you were still doing some some different sorts of gigs around town and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
But you stayed here.
Yeah, because both my brothers were here, Kim and Paul. So we started a band. Kim was in Grafton Street Dinner Theater doing like a 50s show, and so he had a whole bunch of old rock and roll tunes that he knew, and so he taught them to us basically, and we started the band The Hop, and we played for a good 5, 6, maybe 10 years or so. I don't know. It was a really good run, and that kept us fed and kept the rent paid and stuff like that. It was a really good gig. And of course, as we got older, there was less call for that type of music, and that's when I think there were a couple of gigs we did at Cheers where Bobby Mack was the head DJ there, and he needed somebody, and I just one Monday night he said, my DJ didn't show up, and I said, well, I'll give it a shot. So he unlocked the door, he opened it up, and he said, have fun. And that was my training.
Yeah.
So when I looked at the equipment, okay, shouldn't do that, and so and I DJ'd there for 11 years, like
Wow.
full time. Yeah.
Were you working there? Were you working there when they brought Boy George in?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that was quite. I wasn't there, but I heard it was quite a night.
You should be right, but if that's really loud, just let me know.
No, it's all good, brother.
Okay, good. Yeah, that was I remember sitting in. I had a really safe haven in the DJ booth because I could lock it and just watch from I call it my little fishbowl, and it was a very happening night. And I was just surprised how casual he was. He's a very cool dude.
Wow.
And actually, there was also what was the guy who was in the movie Seven that had controversial actor?
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, it's Kevin Spacey
Yeah.
was there one night, and that was it had the same sort of effect going on in the room.
Yeah.
From my little fishbowl, I saw it all.
So, but you and Kim were in a band. Kim was in Gilt or no? Or was Paul in Gilt?
Kim wasn't Gilt the whole time, and actually Kim left before I did. He left around the 10-year mark,
Okay.
and I stayed on for another 3 years.
And Paul was in Seed Spot Run, is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So Paul settled down in Halifax first, and then when Kim left Gilt, he settled down here to hang with Paul. And then when I left Gilt, I settled down here to hang with Kim and Paul, and we played music together.
And the three of you were in the Hop. I don't think I knew that. That's kind of cool. So but no, you're a lead singer, and Paul was a guitar or singer? What's he
Paul
do?
was bass.
Okay, Paul was bass. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
And
the
now
Hop.
that leads me to go and search for some videos of it was we were in the Hop just before everybody started carrying around a video camera in their pocket, so like
Right.
it might be hard to find some footage, but it was a really good band. I mean, we took it very, very loosely. I mean, the songs were dead simple, and it was really all about just going bar to bar and in the area and just creating a home at the same time that we could do the circuit and have fun. It was really fun.
Appropriate name for you, the Hop.
We got mistaken for the Hopping Penguins quite a bit,
Right.
just from the name and stuff.
Well, I
I
remember our buddy Scott Chevrolet used to talk about you guys quite a bit. Yeah. Dave and I both played in the band with Scott early 2000s. It was a version of Full Circle. I think he was calling us Scott Chevrolet's Full Circle at that point.
Right. They came to play Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he used to talk about the Hop all the time. It was kind of neat.
So what are you doing now, Shane?
Oh, geez.
Let's talk about the now. Like, so what we're trying to do here in the show is we want to pay homage to the past, because I mean it's important to know where we came from, I guess. And and it was exciting times. And you were in the from '79 to the early '90s. You were in it to win it, brother. That was the time for sure. Sean and I caught on in the mid late '80s, so we caught a glimpse of it. But we talk about it almost be kind of a sin that a lot of the bars that we knew and cherished and were home to us are gone now, and we don't know what's going to replace it, if anything's going to replace it the way it was. So I guess I'm curious to what you're doing now and how you're being connected to music.
I've taken the sort of unprecedented leap into the original stuff. I don't I don't do. I do play some covers. I don't play them anywhere, but I play them for the enjoyment of just playing songs that I didn't get a chance to play when I was doing it as a job. So I play those for fun, and I just recorded a 10-song album in Mexico. Went to record with Tim Beswick. Did a brilliant job on iTunes. He totally captured what I was trying to do with the song. So now I have them on iTunes, and I'm just gonna sell them. I'm just gonna put them out to the world and see if they like it. And if the world likes it, well, I'll make more. I'm gonna make more anyway, but I'm either gonna keep them to myself or spread them out there. But it's all about original stuff for me now, and I really enjoy it. Every day I write. That's
good for you.
So
and I do an internet radio show.
Oh, okay. I want to ask.
John froze.
You say Mexico. Actually, there to find a studio.
Well, it's funny too because I did 3 songs first with Tim when he had a studio in the Valley, and I loved the sound so much that when he moved there for some reason.
Oh wow!
And he sent me a message saying, we really should finish that album, and I just happened to have a pocket full of money, and I said, well, how much is it going to cost me to get there? He gave me sent me a budget, and I said, done. I'm there. So I booked a flight, and actually, while I was there recording, that's when the whole COVID thing hit.
Right.
I was almost totally unaware because the Mexicans didn't seem to care that something was going on in the rest of the world. Very, very irate. I never saw one angry person in Mexico. Anyway, so as I was gearing down to come back here, I think I got on my flight a week before they banned flight. So I just squeaked back in very, very luckily. With 10 songs in my hand,
Yeah. Well, then that's good. That's good. I'm glad you explained that. That's very cool. Your internet radio show intrigues me. This whole thing that Dave and I are doing actually started out because I do a radio show. It was a sports show. No sports going on. It's pretty hard to do anything with sports. But tell us about your internet radio show.
It's called it's bglradio.net. It's I do 3 shows. I just did one today actually. The Sunday show is retro. I play all the stuff that I've gathered from my Cheers days, and I ripped a lot of discs because I needed to have all those songs handy. So I have them, and then have since bought them. But so I on Sunday I do the retro stuff. On Wednesday it's a modern mix, and on Thursday I do new country. So and the whole show I'm there usually for like 4 hours. I have my headphones on, and for the first time in my life, I'm actually listening. Like listening to a song that I wouldn't normally just sit. I might put it on and do housework while I'm listening to the things. But this is like 4 hours of just listening to what's been recorded. Really, really nice growing experience.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
BGLradio.net.
Okay. So where did that stem from? Like, did they contact you? You contact them, or what is it?
How did that happen? A really long-term fan of the Hop. I think she listened to them quite a bit, and just out of the blue said, "Hey, got this radio station I listen to. They're looking for DJs. Why don't you try out?" And I said, "Well, I took it on because I wasn't really doing too much." And so the guy in I think he lives in, he's not London, but somewhere in England. He got onto my computer and hooked me up with live streaming. I got it all configured for me and everything. And said, just here's what you do. It's kind of like Bobby Mack. He opened up the door. He said, "Here's the equipment. Go ahead. Do what you do."
Right on.
And it's
it's funny the way technology is these days. You don't even have to physically be in a piece of real estate. I mean, my show, I haven't been to the station in 5 years. I record it and download the files and they put it together for me. Right? It's not a live show. So.
Oh yeah. I love technology.
So do you have to put on your FM radio voice and this is one of those type of things?
Oh yeah.
Oh, let's hear your voice.
Actually, I don't know if I can do that. Anyway, I got my mic here. It's like, I don't think it's hooked up to my phone. But yeah, it's like back when I used to be a DJ in a stripper bar in Ontario.
Yeah.
That's how I afforded. Oh, actually, I did a recording with Nick Blagona. who again, he recently passed away, but he was the one who produced the Akimbo logo album.
Oh,
So I
okay.
did 3 songs for him at Metalworks. And what was the point? Oh, and the stripper bar money was how I paid for that recording. So that was, get your hands together now for Shasta, beautiful lady gonna do it for you right here on the stage.
Yes.
Shasta.
Shasta. Yeah, that's hilarious. So you recorded at Metalworks. That's interesting because that's what a studio that is. I had the opportunity not to record, but to be in there. What a spot. And it's in the middle of an industrial park, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember pulling up to it. You're kidding me, right? I'm paying this much money and I'm going here. And I got
exactly.
Yeah, the experience was amazing. Actually, we recorded most of it at Chalet Studios, and then did the mixing and mastering. Well, we split it up into three places. McClear Pathé was a part of the system too, and Nick Laguna just sort of ran the whole thing. And beautiful,
Very cool.
man. Really nice.
So Shane, how are people able to find your stuff then? Like we want to be able to kind of point the direction of where they can find Shane Moore's stuff. So is there a website, or is there, you're on iTunes, I presume, then, are you, for your original stuff?
I am iTunes, Amazon Music, and Spotify.
Wicked.
Just got them going. Yeah. So I have I actually created a new Facebook page. That's because my regular Facebook is just so cluttered. I think 2,000 plus people, but it's just like scattered like all over. There's no real rhyme or reason to friends and people I don't know. So I started this one. It's Neil Shane Moore. So I went with my full legal name, Neil Shane Moore.
Okay.
And so on my Facebook, I have links to all of those places. And I'm kind of trying to figure out ways to get the links that I have for each of those places, Spotify, iTunes,
Right.
how to get them from on my computer. I get the links from there to people. So that's the job now.
Right on.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, and definitely send us the link so we can promote that for you. And anything that you have forthcoming, both new and Gilt and whatever, feel free to load it, because people are just eating that stuff up.
Yeah,
oh, nice.
It'd be wicked to see some stuff in the small Gilt footage, from VHS converted over. That'd be awesome.
Okay, so I have to get some sort of a clarification, because I do tend to go obsessive.
Well,
So
I'll tell you what, Sean and I will approve everything that you'll get. Like the first 5 are free. After that, we'll talk.
There you go. Okay, because it'll be one after another until you say stop, enough. Stop sending.
Bring it on, brother. Bring it on.
You'll know.
All right. I'll know, yeah. Stop. Blocked. I'll be blocked.
Man, oh man. Well, it is for Sean and
I.
I.
Blocked from birth.
Yeah, blocked from Barstools. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We've only blocked
be
one
the first.
person. We've been very good.
Well, that's good though. That's good odds.
Yeah, and he friggin' deserved it. And hopefully, if he minds his manners, he's welcome back. But I tell you, he got blocked early in the game. We won't name names, but we want to be a positive, positive, friendly place for people, and so that's what we want, right? So
got to be civil, at least civil,
Well, in this day and age, Shane, like if anything we've learned through this fucking year is that we have to be nicer to each other. You know what I mean? Like it's. That I have, and for sure, it's something that's like, what, it's been mind-boggling. I'm so sick of hearing unprecedented and the new normal and everything. It's just like, okay, it's whacked. How, what can we do going forward? If we're gonna have a new normal, then we got to change something. And I'm just thinking, man, we just got to be kinder, be better humans, right?
Yeah, totally.
Good point.
I actually got a lot of that from Mexico when I was there. Like I said, I didn't see one angry person, and I was there for a month. And there are a lot of people there that looked like they were in situations that you wouldn't blame them for being angry, because a lot of them are quite destitute, and it's a shitty system there, but everybody just takes it. I mean, that's their life. They see it what it is. They see it for what it is, and just live with it.
Where were you in Mexico? What part of Mexico?
Started out and it took me forever to figure out how to pronounce the name, Oaxaca.
Okay.
So that's where he did the recording. And there's a guy, actually, the studio of that we used was Xavier Santiago. a big Mexican star. Like I wish I could say his name properly. You can Google him, but he's brilliant songwriter. And his studio was kind of run down, but we went in there and did it all up. It was great.
So on like West Coast, East Coast, Central, where were you? Mexico.
I think it's pretty south, kind of central south-ish.
Okay.
And then I went to Huatulco after that, just to sort of, after the album was done, to just sort of enjoy Mexico itself. And that's when it hit the Mexicans that, there's something going on in the rest of the world, and we better start doing something now, right? Which was like way later than everybody else, but that's cool. Yeah, it's a great area.
So would you go back again?
Absolutely, in a pinch. And actually, if things do lighten up transportation wise, I'll be there same time next year. I want to do one album every year.
Nice.
So I'm start saving my money right now and writing the tunes. I want to take a pocket full of songs and a pocket full of money on the other side and show up in Mexico and do it again and come back and start writing again and do it till I can't do it anymore.
Well, what a great way to do it.
I love your attitude, Shane, because I mean, like we talk about this a lot, and I had some songs bounce around my head too for the last 35 years. It's like, and I don't really care if people buy it or not. It's like, for me, it'd be a legacy for my kids. If the kids ever like it, I don't know if they will or not. But I mean, if anything, it's like something that you've done it, right? So it's good for you for doing that, man.
And you got to get them out. I mean, you got to get them out of your head so you make room for new ones.
Yeah.
I found that with my earlier songs that they're about things that I don't care about so much anymore. But back then when I wrote the tunes, I really cared a lot. And I think because they were there, they were taking up too much of my attention. So now that they're out, it's like there's this flood happening, and I'm writing about things that are more current that I care about. Not that I don't care about the songs that I just did. Just they're gone. They're
on to the next.
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Right on.
Well, brother, I just want to thank you for being on the show. Like, for me and Sean, it's like a little bit of a flashback, but it's still, it's still a glimpse into the future as well, because we're excited about what Shane Moore is up to as well. And Petey. And Petey.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised she's staying away, because it's like there's the volume, and that's the thing that attracts her.
That's
Must be making another mountain, I guess.
Yeah, I missed it before we went on the air, because Petey kind of attacked the camera. It was kind of funny. I was kind of hoping that she was going to do it.
Yeah, she likes to stand right here where the because I've got it on a stand, and it's like she'll face me, and that's the only time that she can actually just sort of stare at me.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
We'll have to get together for a coffee or a beer soon, man.
Absolutely, wide open.
Yeah.
Well,
and we can kind of do that now. We're allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. For now, until the new thing comes up.
That's right. That's
Conspiracy theorists.
Shane Moore, we appreciate you for being on here now. Again, send us some links to what you're going to. I know right now, folks can see on the Gilt page, what's it called? Something Gilt on your Facebook.
Gilt in the 80s.
Gilt in the 80s, yeah. I knew it. Yeah.
I'll send a link to that too.
Yes, please do.
Because the rest of the members of Gilt will see all that stuff too. And if they see that people actually have an interest in it, they might pipe up and say something themselves from wherever they are in the world. We've lost a few of them just kind of into the woodwork. So it'd be really nice to drag them out and say, people do remember that we did stuff.
That's too bad, because Sean, we talk about that a lot. Like I said, you spent you got 13 years in a school bus. I mean, Sean and I talk about this a lot. This is your brothers or your sisters, whatever case may be, that you're on the road with. I mean, you see them more than you ever would your family or your wife or your kids or whatever case may be. So it's too bad when that distance, divides. I guess that you don't keep in touch. I mean, that's too bad.
Yeah. Well, there's some that there's some connections that you can't get past. Like both of my brothers, I see them not as often as I'd like because they have their own lives going and stuff. But the guitar player Mark Delahanty lives in Hamilton. There was a point where he lost his singer. Oddly enough, the singer that replaced me when I left Gilt, she was leaving the band, and he said, "Well, do you want to come and fill some space while we transit?" And I said, "Sure, yeah." So I packed everything up, went to Hamilton, Ontario, played some casinos for I think about a year or so. But I missed my son too much, so I had to come back.
Yeah,
but it was good to reconnect with them, and I actually got to bury that hatchet with my management, because my family kind of doesn't really. I got to be careful because they might see this, but my family doesn't really like them much because of where they put us, as opposed to where we could have gone, or where.
Yeah.
Most folks in our inner circle believe that it was management's fault that we didn't make it to the big time, and I'm not necessarily sure that that's true. I think we made a lot of bad choices, and I think they did a good job, like for what they were dealt. Yeah. And so
Well,
I had a
friend that said to me, if management's screwing you, then you have management. So that means you're doing something, right? So
Yeah.
I was kind of like, okay, well, that's an interesting way to look at it. You don't necessarily like to have that, but I mean, it's nice to have somebody to represent you sometimes, right? So
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can concentrate on the other stuff. Like
absolutely.
Mhm.
All right, my man. So we're gonna wrap this, but you send me those links. We'll get those on.
Doing it right
I'll
now.
shoot you a message. Yeah, do that. And we'll get together for a brewski very soon.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you
Hey,
coming
guys,
on,
thanks for
Shane.
having me.
Our pleasure, brother. You take care of yourself, and you and Petey. And the little bird,
I
too.
I
All right, man.
get that a lot.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Barstools